Well, good afternoon. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the Journey Beyond with Dr. Eve. Looking at a bit of sun shining through the windows, giving me a little bit of a different look over here today. But welcome back to my YouTube channel and the podcast, The Journey Beyond. You are listening to Dr. Eve, and I'm excited today to share with you a real truth. A real truth. I'm going to turn this around just a tad bit to see if I can get the sun out of my face or get a better view. So thank you all for being here. Really excited. So guys, I have had a time today. Now, excuse me, over here on Facebook, I see you, but I am over here on YouTube too, so I got to share. So anyway, I wanted to talk with you all a little bit about the importance of standing out from the crowd. Standing out from the crowd. Standing out from the crowd simply means, what is your unique value proposition? There is approximately 8 billion people in the world, and I can't even give you the number of those who are actually entrepreneurs, but the next time you see me, I will have that number. But in entrepreneurship, everyone's doing it, right? And there's so many industries that you can enter into, and you get to decide, right? You get to decide about your ability, your concepts, your schemes, um, your profession, whatever that is that you want to do. But make sure that you're managing the resources on this earth really well. When you make that choice, you then have to decide, okay, well, how many people are doing the same thing? Have you seen that there are so many people doing the same thing? Of course. There are lots of coaches, lots of consultants, lots of leaders, lots of doctors and lawyers and nurses and um, entrepreneurs, business consultants, the list goes on and on and on and on. And you can literally make this a very lucrative market for you. The thing is you absolutely have to have a unique value proposition. So I'm Dr. Eve, and I am a tech enhanced leader. So what that simply means is I use technology in practice. Well, you would say many people use technology in practice, Dr. Eve, these days. Of course they do. However, I use it in a different way. I am uh, the author of some scholarly material. So I utilize tech in practice in the to have social work without walls, social work without borders, and of course, do social work across seas. And I started this journey back when, at the onset of the mobile application revolution, right? When there wasn't a lot of apps, but there were apps and they were being tested and piloted and all the great things. So I decided to take the journey that I was on, because technology happens to be one of my greater gifts, alongside the problem solving and researching and solving the problems through tech, and also uh, designing programs. So let's talk about that. So in every business that you have, in every business that's out there, I don't care if it's doing hair or being a researcher. If you are using it as an entrepreneur, there are many people like you. What is your unique value? Here's the thing. As an educator, I decided that, okay, we're not just doing tech in practice over here, but I'm going to help you practice the concepts of well-being while you're running your business and integrating tech in practice. Many businesses have that I have been, literally researching the internet and watching and monitoring groups and communities and all of the businesses that are out there. And that one of the things that's really been missing is the concept of how Do we just sell to people, or is that the thing we're doing now? No, we should always be in a position of caring for individuals to assure that not only are we selling to them, that we are in business to sell a product, but our first and foremost priority is to care for people, right? And so, as an educator of group processes, my unique value proposition is the integration of group processes. So you see, you have to have a unique thing. Now, not everyone's doing that. Why? Because they aren't educators and that's not their thing. So for me, I have seen that as a problem in many of the markets that I'm seeing as it relates to business. So when you see a problem, you get an opportunity to solve that problem. And what I have been seeing in our communities of online communities is they truly do lack the ethos and the ability to administer healthy concepts, healthy group facilitation. And so, as a trainer, as an educator, as a collegiate adjunct faculty member who teaches this concept, I decided, hey, let me go a little deeper. Let me go a little deeper into the tech space and design tech enhanced communities. So, again, when you're thinking about your unique value, what's different about you? So, yes, this is different. So, no, everybody's not my client because everybody you have to have a certain skill to do this, right? You have to have, first of all, a willingness to serve. You have to have some technological skills or be willing to learn. Three, you have to be a self starter. And four, you have to be a compassionate human being, right? Because this work requires compassion, right? So we're in service to other people all the time. And the most important thing is that we assure that people that we are working with are in a well place. And that means when we are teaching others to own businesses or to start something or to, you know, generate some revenues for themselves, then we also have to remember that oftentimes you're going to jump through hoops as you're even developing this thing, and people can will give up. They'll give up very often and very quickly if they don't see results. And so one of the things that is critical in the beginning of the work, two things that are very, very important, and that is to measure one's ability to do the work, right? All you coaches out there and consultants, measure one's ability to do the work. When we are not measuring there or have any benchmarks as to a person's ability to do the work, then we can take them on a cycle that will leave them feeling like they are um, less than, right? And we don't want anyone to feel less than when we target and say, hey, well, we begin with the end in mind. And that is, what is your strength zone, right? We know that the strength zone has 35, 34 different themes that are critical for one to know for one's success. Why do I know that? Because I went through that process. I went through a process of trying to fit into spaces that just were not my thing. Why? Because one, I needed the money, I needed to get paid. So it was a job, right? There we go with that word, job, right? And so when we are even entering the workforce, we pick up opportunities, we get in where we fit in or in our professions because we need the money to survive, to take care of ourselves, right? And but we weren't trained, we were not trained to say to understand our particular strengths. Had I known, which God alluded to, because He always had me in the community and presenting problems and saying, "Hey, it's yours to solve," and not just that, but um, design something to fix the problem, right? Because our Father God knows those things about us. We just be taking forever to understand what our gifts are, right? And once you know what that is, then there's an expectation for you to do well, to manage your resources, manage the resources in the earth as God instructs us to, and do a good job and be a good steward over his people, right? So let me go back to the strength. So what I discovered after decades and decades of just working and working and working at a job, I was still not happy. And the reason why I wasn't happy was because the thing that I was called to do was to serve community, was to serve community. But God He took me on the pathway. He said, but when you going to get it? Why you keep staying at that job? Because that's not where you're going to be happy. Because why? My strengths are community activator, connector to the resources, maximize one's ability to use the resources, influence others, influence and or persuade others, and of course, teach others to be self-assured, right? So these are the skills that my strength skills they were only understood because I was assessed. Now I recently had a new assessment called the DISC. I never heard of that before, but I took the DISC and guess what the DISC said about me? I'm a servant leader. So it's very, very consistent. But what I did learn through the DISC assessment is that I am pretty stable across things because I've matured so much in the industry. I've gone through the bumps and the bruises of trying to get out here and run a business and stay in my niche market. I'm really, really excited now because I am really honing in on that craft and I'm finding so much success in it, right? Because it's different. It's different, it's innovative, it builds community because that's what I love and that's what I can do because God said I can, right? So, and influencing people to do it. Now that's kind of hard, but it's not as hard as it used to be. And the reason why is because in the convincing stages of sharing why it was important to pivot to the internet, integrate internet into your business practices was not well received until we had a natural pandemic, until the pandemic, right? So that made people pivot. But what we've seen was that a lot of things were broken, right? A lot of things were broken. So I'm excited to be on the journey beyond, offering the unique value of pivoting to the internet with your service opportunities to extend your services past the 9 to 5, past uh, past 9 to 5, past the seas, past the borders, past the state, your area code, and all the things, right? But that is the beauty of owning your unique value. You too have a unique value proposition. What we do is help you to discover those things about yourself and to hone in on your craft to also to help you to integrate tech in practice. Why? Because we can't, it's, we're never going to go back to the way things used to be. So it's very, very important that you begin to solidify the concepts, you know, of what it means to run an effective group with compassion, right? We're not here to just sell things to people. We're here to influence them to be well, right? Influence them to be well through our products, right? Be well through our products. That's a really, really important thing to know. So, really, really excited. Be on the lookout. My research is about to be published. Facilitator Perceptions of Mobile HS for Addiction Relapse Prevention. What I discovered is that the concepts of access, education, and social support work really well across all domains. I hope that you will pick up your copy and read it for your own intellectual understanding of what it means to have online social support and why it's so important in these times. This is Dr. Eve on the Journey Beyond. Thank you for joining me for another episode of The Journey Beyond. Peace and blessings to you. Have the most amazing day. And whatever you do, let no one get in the way.